Have you ever almost rolled your ankle on a frozen pile of horse poop? Because I almost did today.
In general, the VPA being able to service a need, people are not having access to care for their pets, then could VPA serve the role?
In this industry, you have to live with the decisions you make at the end of the day.
The scope of practice hasn't been developed yet, so we don't know what they are and aren't going to be allowed to do.
We treat dogs, but like you guys are like the brain behind the treatment. So like the fact that I literally saved that dog's life yesterday, like she could have been euthanized.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable, the podcast where we answer your veterinary-related questions while having some fun along the way. If you enjoyed today's episode or a previous episode, be sure to leave us a review on your podcast provider of choice. And if you have any feedback to offer to improve the Veterinary Roundtable, let us know.
Let us know.
Yep.
Okay. Look at us on reviews. We're killing it.
Oh my gosh. 300? What?
Whoa.
Wait. I feel like we
we're at
skipped a step.
309 now.
I think we skipped a step. Is that supposed to be 209?
Oh, nope.
He said
nope.
300 reviews on Spotify.
I don't think we were previously 300, were we?
Well, we missed an episode. I don't know if they talked about it then. I don't think they talked about
Previously, you were at 292.
292.
That's crazy. 309 on
amazing.
Spotify.
Oh, gotta set a new goal, I guess.
119 on Apple.
Oh, wait, just kidding.
Maybe we should set a goal for Spotify and Apple.
Yeah.
Skydiving at 310.
Hope
never letting it
go. We're probably at 310 now.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, thank you.
You guys are lame. Nothing new.
You can go skydiving?
Courtney? Oh.
Continue. We've had this conversation so many times.
Okay, anyway, 119 on Apple. We've plateaued there, but that's okay. We still appreciate the 119.
Yep.
Anyway, go check out our social channels. We are on Instagram and TikTok because it's back.
It was
never going to go away.
It was gone for
but
like 12 hours.
here we
So
are.
Trump loves, as Harrison would say, TikTok. It's not going to go away.
Trump loves
That out,
TikTok.
Trump loves
President
TikTok.
Trumpy loves it.
Trumpy loves TikTok.
Throw her in jail. Throw her in
Throw
jail.
in jail.
There you have it, folks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, baby. Okay.
You can find both of them at the Veterinary Roundtable. You can also check out our YouTube channel. That's where video podcasts are published. So you can watch us, which is exciting, at the Veterinary Roundtable. And then we are also, which is brand spanking new, offering the podcast and video format on Spotify.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that works. I don't use Spotify, but I assume it's pretty cool.
Should be
Um,
self-explanatory,
cool.
I assume.
Yeah, it's just like YouTube, but on
Sure you
Spotify.
Just
Click a
press a button. User friendly.
I'll just do the rest. Okay.
Okay.
Keep going. You're rolling.
And then don't forget to keep checking out our Proposition 129 series. We talk with Dr. Steele, Mark Cushing, Dr. McCormick, and Dr. Sue Vanderwood. It is the best place to find insider information on the situation as it's unfolding. So if you have any questions, you can check out any of those episodes, and I bet we answer it.
I bet we do because we have looked at this
sure we
topic
do.
3 ways to Sunday.
Literally.
We studied hard prior to those episodes.
Oh my gosh.
And then we learned more
lot.
and then had more questions from those episodes.
We may know more than the people who came up with that episode.
It's very
They
possible.
should have us on the committee in Colorado.
I think so.
funny.
I mean, really.
Call us, tag us, DM
Hire
us.
the ladies in red.
Hire the ladies in red. We have some
lots
input.
to say.
We do have lots to
Detectives
say.
at this
I have
point.
learned so much, and I've also learned a lot of stuff about human medicine that
Yeah.
didn't really make me feel any better, but that's okay. Human medicine. Okay.
I can't.
I did it for you.
I said it. I just said it really quietly.
It was not quiet.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, gosh. All right. I'm Dr. Emily King.
I'm Courtney Allen.
I'm Devin Fortune.
I'm Dr. Ashlyn Duckall. And we are
The Veterinary
Veterinary
Roundtable.
Welcome.
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 Okay.
We want to talk about this weather.
Oh, that was going to be
Oh.
my pit. Is that your pit
Oh.
too?
This
That is my.
weather.
Oh wait, that's not my pit.
Sweater weather.
It's like, it says the
Laughing
temperature
at
is like -1,
yeah.
but then it feels even colder than that.
It's
Negative.
-10.
It's so
31.
crisp.
Crisp.
Well, this is gonna be my pit for the next episode, but if it's gonna be this cold, it needs to snow. If it's not gonna snow,
It
it
snowed
has
today.
no business being this cold.
It was snowing on my lunch break.
Barely.
It looked like a
I didn't
snow
see any sprinkle
it was
on the ground.
a whisper of snow.
Yeah, it was.
It was
like a-
whisper. No, it
But
wasn't.
like,
So-
if it's gonna be this cold, it needs to snow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why? What's the point?
I do like when it's this cold and it freezes the ground and it's not sloppy then.
It's hard though.
It is hard.
I tell
It's
you what,
very
have
hard.
you ever almost rolled your ankle on a frozen pile of horse poop? Because I almost did today. The little balls, fecal balls, I tell you
Beagle
what,
balls.
those
They're
are
ankle breakers, baby.
they're ankle breakers. And when I was scooping said hard rock poop, I
Beagle
thought
balls.
instantly my body was going into shock because I couldn't feel my fingertips.
Did you have gloves on?
Yeah, 2 layers, and they hurt.
Are
and
they
I was
good
like,
gloves?
what?
Are they good gloves?
They're okay.
Oh,
but
sure.
I had to take my gloves off and put them under my armpits so my body warmth would warm them
You're like a
up.
Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
chick where you're like,
I was like, go to the core, go to my, don't get frostbite.
I will say, even on my drive over here from the clinic, like my fingertips got frozen, and I had to like
Yeah.
alternate.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
real thing.
It's horrible. It's like the
It is.
snow that's in the play yard right now is just ice.
Yeah.
Because like the snow that was left over froze, and now it's
Yeah.
just a sheet of. It's like an ice skating rink out in
And
the
then
play
it's really
yard.
fun trying to go down the ramp the other day because it's a ramp on one side and then stairs on the other, and I always go down
Yeah.
the ramp. The other day, a dog just like ran out the door, and I pretty much just jumped from the top to the bottom
Yeah.
because I was gonna slide
oh
right
my
down. Yeah.
gosh.
I find no joy in this weather. Zero.
Really, yeah, I
I
don't
really
either.
don't.
Yeah,
I
I'll
try
take
and
this
convince
over
myself.
100
I'm like, it's
degrees, but-
another form of beautiful.
How'd
No,
that
it's
go
not
for
really.
you?
Well, when you wake up first thing in the morning and you see the sunrise and the trees don't have any leaves, and you look and it's pink
It's pretty.
and
It's so
orangey, and
beautiful.
it is pretty.
You know what's
but-
also pretty? A
Yes.
sunrise at summertime. or spring or fall.
or spring or fall, any other time.
Or over a beach.
Over That's
I do
right.
think winter
saying.
has the
Over
best
the ocean.
sunrises, though.
What's that?
I do think winter has the best sunrises.
in Indiana because
We are
it's
awake
flat.
for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was teaching me the other
I
day
think they're
about
prettier.
Indiana and something about, I was halfway listening clearly, about like the
Devin was
tectonic.
teaching
No,
you?
Richie, the tectonic plates, and then that's why it's flat in Indiana because we're in some basin with some
Yeah, the
silt
glaciers.
plain, something,
They
or
flatten
something.
us out.
that was really
So,
helpful information. Thank
so-
you.
Are
Hank.
the
That's all
plates
the
going to part and we're all just going to
Bro
go
science I
down?
got for you.
We're going to get
if
sucked into the earth?
we can break in half.
Yes, I don't know. Do you know the other interesting thing? Speaking of
Sure.
our Earth,
Oh,
if you look at the other side of the globe, there's nothing on it.
I'm
What do you-
sorry, what?
What?
If
Huh?
you look at the other side of the globe, the Earth, there's nothing on it. It's all
It's the
water.
Pacific.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's just the
I mean,
ocean?
there's
Yeah,
some
it's just
stuff
the ocean,
on
but
it.
if
When
you look
there's
at it-
some
When
stuff.
you get a globe like
No,
from the
hardly
store,
anything.
it doesn't
Like-
have stuff all the way.
Like if you get a globe, you see all the countries.
I think
or
that
like
just has
here
something to do
and-
with the way it's wrapped.
You spin it around. No,
It's
Devin,
not,
it's
like,
true.
I'm gonna pull out
From
my
space.
Okay, where did
From
you
space.
hear
You
this?
pull up a picture.
Did
and show 'em.
Calvin tell you that?
No, maybe, but it's true. I had to fact check them. You spin it. You look from whatever up high in space.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It is all ocean. There is nothing on the other side.
That's
of
why they
the
say that
globe.
only 5% of the ocean has been discovered because our whole Earth is
Okay.
ocean.
Look at the
okay.
picture. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
What do
sorry.
you mean the picture? I'm looking at the other side of the Earth, and there's Africa, there's Asia.
No, like if you look at all. Okay, never mind.
But look how much is water.
Are you talking
Hold
like
on.
the bottom?
Yeah, that's
versus
No.
that's
the
not the
top?
other side.
Yeah, it is.
No, not really.
Show her.
I'm.
That is all water.
That's the Pacific Ocean.
yeah, but that's all.
Let me see.
It's still
But
water.
there's Australia.
Listen,
There's
I'm telling you,
Hawaii.
it's
It's a lot of
very
water.
interesting.
Oh,
It's
But you're
very
thinking about the
interesting.
globe you buy from the store,
that
right?
is terrifying. I thought about the globe from the stores. Yeah, because nobody wants half decorated globe.
No.
They're gonna decorate
Yeah.
the full globe.
They decorate the full.
But I mean, there's
but
there's
like you said,
Australia.
a lot of the
there's
ocean isn't discovered.
Hawaii. There's New Zealand. Don't forget about New Zealand.
Okay, but it's like small.
I did not know New Zealand was there. By the,
The
way,
Australian Open is on right now, tennis. So I have to wait
Ooh.
till 9:30 p.m. to watch it because it's the next day over there. In case anyone wants to know.
We have jumped around so many times.
It's
Okay, yeah,
really
I'm gonna
good
find the
tennis
picture
match.
for
I had a
y'all
really
because
important-
you guys are gonna be like,
important point to
what?
make, but then you distracted me.
I don't think I would ever go to Australia because of the spiders.
I
And-
agree.
And the kangaroos.
Yeah,
Those things are aggressive.
kick your head off.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Okay.
jumping around too
Sorry,
much. Our
okay, I'm
listeners
good.
might
Those
get
are-
annoyed with
Those
us.
are my
Peak
pits and
till-
peaks.
Did
Yeah.
you find one?
I'm
Pits and
finding one.
peaks.
Just a minute. I'm gonna
Oh
find
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
What's your peak that the Earth is mostly water?
No,
I don't know.
That
I
is a
just-
pit for me. The
it's
water is
weather.
terrifying.
I wrapped it all into one.
Okay.
What? Psst.
The
Choose your
sunset-
poison.
The sunset in the winter
sunrise.
was my peak.
Sunrise.
That's my pit because it's winter.
Yes.
Actually, I have a pit. Okay. Because I have to apologize to all my clients I've ever done this to. So today, so I got hit with the sickness. Okay. Courtney's laughing. I'm not going to go into details, but I had a doctor's appointment Okay, it was on telemedicine, so that's why it's funny.
Oh my gosh, Duckwall.
Just
Okay.
let me
At
explain.
least you can talk. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Do you
I
have
got
a
hit with the
disease?
sickness. No, the cold that's going around from
That I gave
you
her.
and from you and from you and
I have no cold.
probably you.
I'm
My baby.
invincible.
Anyway, we have the big event coming up at VMX. And so I was like, oh, hell no. I ain't getting sick and hacking on stage. So I made a telemedicine appointment from the comfort of my home to just explain the situation and say, hey, if it goes sideways, I need medication on board.
Sideways.
So she's on board. She was going to she filled steroids to help with inflammation in my lungs because I have asthma. Everybody knows this in the
We
world.
do know this.
And then an antibiotic only if I'm not improving.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that. Okay. I go to the pharmacy
Look,
twice.
here it is.
I know where.
You're not even listening to my
Look
I'm
plan.
not. I
showed
just, I
them.
can't. I gotta
just
prove.
showed them that exact thing.
You did?
You can
Look
do
at
that
that.
by going
I
to your
just
Maps
saw
app.
that.
Okay, sorry.
The
Okay, keep
blue
going.
ball.
Okay, okay.
I'm
Asthma.
glad that you're
Everyone
no,
knows
stick
it.
to that
though.
brown. That's a fecal ball. Frozen
You're
from the
stepping on.
horses.
Okay,
Okay, everybody knows you have asthma. I'm
Anyway,
listening.
Okay,
Pharmacy.
everyone knows that. I went to the pharmacy 2 different times today, out of my way, and they said they didn't receive anything. Nothing was
Oh.
sent over from the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very frustrating. And I called the doctor's office, and they said, well, she works from home on telemedicine days. There's no way to communicate. I will put a message into her.
please.
So I apologize to all my clients and patients who have ever been delayed on filling scripts or forgot for a day or two, because it is not okay.
No.
It
is not okay.
Wow, I've definitely done this before to people unintentionally. I know she's a busy lady, to the doctor is, so whatever. I will give her grace, but I'm also very irritated.
Yes.
I need those steroids.
Yes.
Yes.
I would agree.
So Zicam continue every 2 hours.
That's crazy.
That's
You're
my
gonna
pick.
like be your zinc level is
Yeah.
gonna be like so high.
I know.
You've been doing this for a week now.
Yeah, over a week. I asked
Is that
Dr.
healthy?
Cloud in the doctor's office the other day. We were talking about Zicam. I said, do you think I can overdose on zinc? And her and Dr. Ham said no, because you just pee it out.
Okay.
I'd like to
Yeah.
point out that Zicam specifically says on the back of the directions that you cannot take it more than 14 days.
Okay, you got still another 7
Okay,
days.
I'm
You're
good. No, I still got like a couple more days.
Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
PSA.
Also, it says don't exceed 7 in a 24-hour
Yes.
period, which I do not do. I actually count and make sure.
She
I
can
don't-
word for word on what's on the bottle exactly.
I can
Okay.
tell you which flavors are good and bad.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
My peak. Oh, our dog that we talked about one podcast or two ago with the mast cell on the leg with the
Oh,
big open.
yeah.
Yes.
We just got an updated picture last night. Beautiful.
It is the
Beautiful.
most beautiful
Granulation
thing I've ever
tissue.
seen in my life.
Mwah.
I have an album going.
Can
so.
you use the Xerasil or whatever on it now?
Probably.
Because it's
There's
like-
good granulation
The
bed.
dad's
so
doing a great job at home.
Yeah.
So we're just
Awesome.
not gonna mess with it.
We'll show updated pictures, but it's beautiful.
yes.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Good.
Good
So
times.
exciting.
You wanna go?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just do a peak. My peak is that I'm so close to being done with school, and it's insane. I just took my mock exam, and then I have my second externship, and then I'm done.
Done, baby, done.
And then I have to take my
That's
test. But it's just
crazy.
wild.
That's
I
what
know. I
happened.
was walking around like All-Star the other day, just thinking about it, and I was like, it does not feel like I've been doing this for 2 years, and I never really thought that I'd see the finish line, but
You've been doing
Yeah.
it for 2 years.
yeah.
It's done.
Holy cow. I remember
Crazy.
when you were shadowing in your little red scrubs.
I know.
In the
Yeah.
treatment.
I know. And I
So
told
funny.
you, because I had watched like an episode of the podcast
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And then I whispered to you, you were getting a muzzle. I'm like, I got a job.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, full circle.
Full circle.
I know.
Exciting.
But I'm just excited to have some time in life back because that has consumed my life for the past 2 years.
I believe it.
No, that's
To
really
be a
cool.
new woman.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
not
good.
having school is nice.
Yes.
Okay, my pit is about the negativity going on in the world right now. I'm just over it. Just revolving around a lot of things I won't specify. I'm just over the negativity. Okay, my second thing, my peak is really exciting. My husband told me last night that we're going back to Cleveland in February.
Are you?
Cleveland, Ohio is her favorite
That's
place.
her
That's
favorite
just-
place to go.
It's our happy place. We
Yeah.
have such a good time there. We're taking our dog again.
Oh, so is it
Aw.
like a stadium?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
So, because we're like, he's part of some kind of whatever. I don't know what it is, but he gets early access to stuff. So they send him emails directly before they open it up to the public. So we're taking Miles back to the stadium. But this time our dog they said, your dog gets to be like an MVP or something or whatever. And so we get to tour the stadium. We get to take Miles into the locker room, like into a whole bunch of different areas like that you would never see in the stadium.
Really cool.
So
That is cool.
That is very
I know,
cool.
I'm excited.
Make sure you take pictures.
I
That's
will.
really cool.
Hopefully it's
I'm
not
really
negative
excited.
1 or
Until
2
Well,
there.
Well, it's going to be I mean, the stadium isn't covered, but we'll be like inside, more
Sure.
inside than we normally would.
That's good.
So I'm really excited.
That's exciting.
Very
Wow.
cool.
Will you tell Cindy?
Well, who?
Simmons?
Oh,
Simmons.
we can talk about that later.
Okay.
I forgot about that. Anyway. Okay. Inquiries. Anybody? You want me to do it? Okay, sure.
Sure.
You're on a
forgot
roll.
that she'd kind of already gone. So
Okay. I just listened to the Prop 129 podcast, the Dr. Steele episode. She brought up this will help provide vet services in areas of need. I live in the Central Valley of California, and yes, it's so hard to find vets that are willing to move here to work. I mainly believe it's due to the simple fact of most people don't want to live in California, let alone the Central Valley, even though I feel like the cost of living here is a lot cheaper than most places. I'm originally from Washington, spent time in Idaho, and this place is much cheaper than those states. So I don't think having VPAs will solve the issues for providing care in areas where there's a vet shortage, especially in areas where people don't exactly want to live.
Thank you.
Mic drop.
What we've said the entire time.
Yes.
it's a unique perspective that she's lived all those places and
Yep.
has those different experiences.
Speaking from personal experience, yeah.
Yep.
My biggest rub. That doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
I mean,
That's a lot
I
of
get
different.
like you shouldn't be using that as a reason to have VPAs,
No,
meaning
no.
you're going to get access to pets.
But
Right.
that's a
Or
huge...
pets are going to have access to care because you
Right.
have VPAs
Right.
in these rural areas.
But that's the main argument. That's the crazy part. That
Right.
is the main argument.
doesn't make any
It's
sense.
not a
Access
good
to care.
argument. Come up with a better one. And then
Yeah.
we may get on board.
Yeah,
There is.
there isn't a better
Yeah,
one.
I know. Exactly.
We already know. Well, thank you, Anonymous, for
yes.
Your perspective
yes
and stating
for-
the obvious.
Just stating the obvious.
If we keep saying it over and over again, maybe somebody will catch on.
Yeah, I don't understand how it became. I don't. Yeah, I don't know unless it's the shelters. Unless again, that was how this all started, was to be able to provide care inside shelters, and then it morphed into
But then talk about shelters. Don't talk about everything else.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Something doesn't make sense.
something
Right.
smells rotten.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, next one. This is an interesting episode, the Mark Cushing episode. Years ago, dental hygienists in Oregon worked and received the ability to provide care to patients with limited access through the expanded practice dental hygiene permit. I happen to be one of those hygienists who took the extra education required to get this permit. I was able to work without direct supervision in nursing homes, schools, homes for the mentally handicapped, etc. I also had the opportunity to be able to work in the Boys and Girls Club for children up through 18 and pregnant women. I was also able to bill Medicaid and many insurances for the services I provided. Since then, hygienists are also now allowed to complete the filling procedure once... Is it filing? Filing procedure once
Filling.
the...
I think you're right.
Filling procedure once the doctor has prepared the tooth for filling. There. Dental hygiene has moved for quite a bit from the days that we needed to be under direct supervision, and it has allowed the underserved to be cared for. Though dental hygiene is not the same, I thought it might shed a positive light on the potential for a PA equivalent vet tech. I hope this is helpful. From Anonymous.
That's
Okay.
a really interesting
Yeah.
perspective
Mm-hmm.
from people. Like I can totally see where dental care.
Yeah, I
Might
think
be
it's just two
applicable.
different ball games they're talking about.
Because you
Like,
can
I
schedule
see-
fillings, but you can't like know exactly what's going to happen when you get in a dog's mouth. Is that, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's how I
I don't
think about
know.
it.
I see the parallel there.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
humans also don't have to be anesthetized necessarily.
Well, and I think that she's even talking just in general about the VPA role, not even just as far as dentistry, but just in general, the VPA being able to service a need.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if people are not having access to care for their pets, then could VPA serve the role?
Sure.
Is what she's saying. Is like that's what we were able to do,
Right.
right? Isn't that how you're reading that? Is like,
Yeah, that's how she's
as
being,
a hygienist, she went through extra training,
Yes.
Mm.
so that she could provide care
I see.
without being supervised by a dentist.
I
Which
do
is
think
also-
it's different because she just has to focus on dentistry, and then we have like dentistry and everything
Sure.
else.
But also the other thing is, like, she was a hygienist and went and got more schooling, where in this situation, it's only the opportunity for technicians who have a bachelor's degree. So the people who have an and associates or learned on the job won't have that opportunity, at least as of right now, until they define it better or whatever. So I think if anything, it just shows that they should really consider the opportunity to be maybe more microscope to people who already have a vet tech license or already went through the schooling.
Yeah.
Not people who went and got a chemistry degree and then apply to do this and don't have that background.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we were talking about before the podcast, the scope of practice hasn't been developed yet, so we don't know what they are and aren't going to be allowed to do in Colorado.
It's all speculation.
So it's all speculation.
It's easy for us to go to worst case scenario where they're going to be allowed to do basically everything, and then they're going to get in an abdomen and not know what to do with a bleeding, hemorrhaging dog.
Right.
That's worst case scenario.
I think that,
Yeah.
It can happen in a spay too. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, yeah.
It can happen. I feel like
easy surgeries. It can still happen.
The routine.
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
It's called dropping a pedicle. It's called nicking the spleen.
It's called panic.
Yeah.
It's called SOS. Phone a friend. Whatever. Yeah.
Usually DVMs phone a DVM to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought you bring up a really good point about it's one body system that you're focusing on, which is the argument that MDs have for PAs, is that they can make an argument for a PA if their scope of practice is so narrow that they can be excellent at those few things that they do.
Domain.
And so then therefore you're not practicing on an undifferentiated patient.
Yes.
So like having somebody that you don't have any idea what's going on with, that's where the problem's going to be. If you know this has a skin problem and you're treating a whatever, like the scope of practice is so narrow that they minimize then their ability to make a mistake, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, but who knows who knows what they're going to do in Colorado. So
nobody knows. They don't even know.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be, looking for input. So
Oh, goody.
I do like hearing other perspectives, though.
yeah, because I can totally see the need for this in people that are homebound and a dentist can't go see. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, it's just such a narrow.
It's such a
specific.
Small group. Yeah. Then it gets, the more detailed you get into that, the more I think gray can come into play.
Right.
Like, oh, does this person fit in that category? And if not, but you don't know, I don't know. Just opens up a
whole different can of worms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's just so many body systems. There's just so much to
We shall see.
keep track of.
She said nervously.
It makes my head hurt thinking about it. Okay.
Almost done talking about it. What if you want to read it?
Oh, sure. The proposed curriculum for VPAs looks like most of it is through online modules learning. What are your thoughts on this, and how can this be similar to someone actually going through vet school? Anonymous. Great question.
Great question.
You like this question.
And
I do, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, and Dr. Vanderwood did talk about it, so make sure you listen to that episode as well. But tell us what you've learned in all your research.
Well, I'm just extrapolating from experience of going through vet school and then being in practice. Like they tell you you're not even going to recognize the abnormals until you've constantly palpate and look at the normals. So how are you going to do that online, even when you're learning basic anatomy?
You're not touching it.
Well, they're sending models to these people.
Oh,
remember
they're going to send one model per person in the program,
but not a horse. But because
not a
we were laughing.
Right.
Remember, we were laughing about like they can't send a horse, but they're going to be sending models.
But you have nobody. So you have someone on there watching you with the model to direct you. Like, what if you find something and you're like, oh, this is totally the sciatic nerve, but JK, it's actually the femoral artery. Like, what? I mean, that's an extreme, but like, you could convince yourself that's what.
Well,
it
hopefully,
is
when you ligate it and it makes the knee twitch, you go,
the model's going to be alive.
Are the models going to twitch?
So now we're going back to in surgery.
These are sophisticated models, Dugwall.
I'm just saying, it makes no sense.
Oh gosh, I know.
It's like,
I know.
It's like teaching someone the color red is purple, and if you keep telling them that is purple, they're gonna believe it's purple. So what are you gonna do to control that?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did she say they spend how many semesters online?
5.
5 semesters online,
pretty
and then
sure it's
they come back to the university, but they're spending time in the new facility that they're building,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I was going to ask about.
But they're
'cause I
not
heard that.
competing with CSU vet students.
That's
for
the goal. She said they're going to try to figure out a way to where there's not competition between VPAs
the labs and all that. That's right.
DVMs.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, when the VPAs are due to be in clinic, but then you've got your 4th year DVM students that are in clinic, there could be a
Mhm.
lot of, I didn't even think about that until she said it, but there could be a fight between who gets to have one case, or do you have to split the case between a DVM and a VPA? And then it gets real awkward of like learning curve. And
She said that was not going to happen, but
right.
I mean, we don't know because we don't know what it looks like yet.
But there's only so many people that are going to come to CSU clinic to get stuff done.
And she did, to her credit, say, what is 30 students? Is
I
the
think
first
she said it
class
was like 30. It's a
Yes.
small
So like,
one.
I mean,
heard
it's
that part.
small. I mean, like we're talking about it as if it's like
a whole bunch of hundreds
100,
of people.
same
Yeah.
number as the vet students, which it won't be. And then, so
But
I
I
mean,
still am
maybe
like,
it'll
how do you separate DVM, VPA, and technician? I know they don't have a technician school there, but you've got actual paid technicians.
working. I don't know.
I don't know.
We shall see how
All
it unfolds.
questions to be answered.
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
It'll be cool
Online
when we
modeling.
start getting like VPA reviews, and they can give us their opinion on the position.
What did she say the first class graduated?
2020.
Yeah.
27? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that means they would start a year from now, right? Because it's, no,
It's 5.
I think they start next fall, maybe.
right. That'd be 2025,
2020.
right?
Today's-
So,
Right now it's 2025.
So it'll be 2026 next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. It's not far away.
Yeah, it's not far away at all.
I hope they get a rolling on the criteria and how to test them and
Yeah.
accreditation and
Yeah, there's a lot of
Curie.
stuff that is just, and I think the other interesting thing is like you only can be in Colorado unless the Practice Act allows for that in another state.
Yeah.
So right now it's just Colorado.
Yep.
Did you ask her if she sees, I don't know if she has any input on it, like sees that changing before it's rolled out and the
She
class
does.
starts?
They do have schools that are using Colorado as the model.
yes.
So I do think.
So
I
we'll
mean,
probably be in
like
other
Mark Cushing
states?
said. I mean, you're going to see people, other institutions, like basically
Well, LMU is gonna
adapt
adjust,
their
yeah.
program to mimic what
I see.
CSU's is doing.
Oh dear.
So, and then there'll be I'm sure because when you look at the money, apparently master's programs are what generate a lot of revenue for institutions.
Yep.
And for the master's,
with it
for to be-
online too. Think
right,
about that.
and for it to be a master's program,
More
you have
money.
to have a bachelor's.
yes.
More money.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So, because we did ask her the question too of why not do a tech school, but
Mhm.
I think that was when that conversation came up. If it's more,
it was harder to develop the undergraduate program than it was to develop the master's
Yeah.
program. And it's probably because they already had a bachelor's.
Yeah.
So then to develop the master's is not difficult.
Yeah.
Compared to what it was going to require to develop the undergraduate degree is
Yeah.
what something similar to that is what she said.
Interesting.
She used some other words that I didn't understand, but yes, that's
Yeah.
basically what she was saying.
Okay.
So,
we'll see. Anonymous.
yeah. So what's everybody's take so far with all the information that you know?
I'm interested to see how it plays out, and if people in the positions like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous to see what's going to happen to the technicians. Because, I mean, I know this program is aimed toward technicians, but if we have the same rate of like burnout and stuff, and then techs are going to go there and be, or
But
they're
it's
going
not
to.
even. It's not even targeted towards techs. It's just if you have you can.
I mean, that's true, but well, that was like one of the things is like they wanted RVTs to be able to further their career.
Mhm.
So, like, if you're having RVTs do that, then you're taking away, and then there's not enough RVTs, but then the VPAs end up turning into the RVTs that, like, they take over our job, and then there's no RVTs and there are no places for RVTs.
I don't think that they will ever take the place of RVTs. I think what will happen is that you could potentially see there being even fewer RVTs because the RVTs will do VPA.
Yes.
Just like in human medicine. So the nurses graduate and then they don't even spend any time bedside
And
nursing.
then there's like,
They go on to
But then
being
the
a
VPAs
PA.
are still going to need a tech.
Right.
So
Right.
And so then you're just gonna have very, very expensive
Then
technicians.
Yes.
I mean, like,
Expensive technicians, or you're still going to have a problem with access to care because
Yeah.
there's nobody to help the doctors and the VPAs.
or all clinics are going to resort to the like doctors being more hands-on. I feel like some practices around the area, like we have a few doctors that have come from very hands-on clinics and others that haven't. So
you mean where the doctors are doing technician work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then would
It's
create
horrible.
less appointments available because then you realistically, and that's how I take it. So then it decreases access to care because if you're spending more time
Yes.
having to help with, catheter, all of that
So
stuff.
just yeah.
Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense to.
Does not make sense.
Yeah, I just don't think they have it together enough to be doing what they're doing.
I think
or maybe
that
like
there
they
was,
should have rolled it out into shelters for like a
Yeah.
starting period and seen how it went, and then maybe consider.
yeah.
I think we've talked about it. I think it makes sense for shelters. I think I mean, I'll be the first one to say I'm probably a little ignorant when it comes to shelter medicine because we're just not involved
Yeah.
in it. We don't
Mhm.
see that. We don't have those same struggles of limited medications, limited whatever. So I think in those settings are hard enough. So if they can increase at least the care in that aspect,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Well, I wish they would have increased. I wish they would have just allowed the change in the Practice Act to come to fruition, to allow the change in shelter medicine with the RVTs to see what that looked like, then develop the scope of practice, then went to the public and talked about it
Mhm.
so that the public knew exactly what this position would, and other people in the all of us in the veterinary industry
Right.
would have known. Instead, it seems ass backwards.
Yes.
You make the position, now we're going to decide what you're allowed to do. Like, that doesn't seem to make
That's what.
any
Yeah, they
sense
should
to me.
get their stuff together.
That's where the
first.
motives seem weird.
And that's
Weird.
why- that's
and
why
that's
we're-
why you get all these like accusations of like,
That's why the vet med
you
community
know,
is shutting
ill
down
will,
and freaking
you
out.
know,
Yeah.
like there's something nefarious going on.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wish it would have happened that way because I think it makes more sense logically to people when they're trying to digest the information and to
Yeah.
get on board with it.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, the vet med community was slapped in the face with a new position without like
Yeah.
anything. It's just like,
Yeah.
here, this is happening. Get on board.
Through a back door because they went through
Yeah.
the
To
ballot.
the back door. And, you know, McCormick made a great point. Like the argument to have the VPA was such an easy stance to make.
Mm-hmm.
To defend not having it was so much more, you know, like so much more knowledge you had to get out there to people
Yeah.
and information that you had to get out there to people
True.
for them not to choose to do it. And so it's like, if you say, do you want pets to have access to care?
Who's going to say no?
Who's going to say no? I'm not going
Right.
to say no.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like that's not
Mhm.
what's going to happen.
Yep.
So they had a very easy argument to sell, which also helped, I
Yep.
think, their situation. But
Well,
I think we did a great job.
time will tell.
time will tell.
Yep.
Time will tell.
Okay.
Follow along
Follow
with
along.
us as we follow along.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys, case collections, does anybody have a case they want to share?
I don't. I'll save it for the next episode.
I can share something.
Okay.
So yesterday I dealt with a very difficult situation. So we had an owner call. They initially called reception, and they have a 5-year-old lab mix. She is spayed. She is on thyroid tabs, Proin, and Apoquel. But they called and said that they wanted to schedule a euthanasia as soon as possible, like same day. So the reception girls were like, we're going to have to talk to the technician and we'll get back with you. So they filled me in on the situation. We haven't seen the dog in a little bit, but as far as we knew, she was doing well. So I was thrown off guard. So I called the owner and was just asking for more information. And he stated to me that the 5-year-old dog was getting into it with a housemate who is 2 years old.
Mhm.
They've lived together since, because I think they got the 2-year-old as a puppy, but I'm assuming that. But within the last 2 days, they were going after each other aggressively, and he thought they were going to kill each other. So he just said, the 5-year-old, she just needs to go. Like we can't do it. She needs to be put down. And so I went through a few options. I had asked him if he was interested in medical management, as in discussing like consulting with a behaviorist, or medication, anything like that. He immediately shot that down. And then I asked about taking her to the Humane Society, and he said no, because he didn't want to put the burden of her medications on somebody else. And then I asked if he had asked like family members or anything if they wanted to take her, and he said no to that, as in the same reasoning of not wanting to burden somebody else with her health problems. So after I digested all that, I told him I would have to call him back because it, like I said, is a very difficult situation. So I talked to the Dr. Duckwall because it's our patient. And then we talked to a few other people in the clinic. And it was a situation of you in this industry, because Dr. Dudley made a good point. In this industry, you have to live with the decisions you make at the end of the day. And we do behavior euthanasias. Behavior euthanasias are not wrong. But in this situation, I don't know if we had the full story. I don't know. Like, there's just a lot that plays into it to just like get on board with a euthanasia right off the bat like that. So we talked through everything, and it just wasn't something that anybody in the clinic was comfortable with. But then you worry about other things. But anyway, so I ended up calling the owner back, and I explained all the reasonings, and I offered again. I said, we are more than happy to get you scheduled with a doctor, and we can have a behavioral consultation, run through everything, take our time, go through all of your concerns, things like that. And he was still not interested in that. He just said the dog needed to go because he was worried about the safety of both dogs in the home. So I then apologized that we weren't able to help. And then I went over the Humane Society again. So I had actually reached out. I'm going to back up a little bit. Before I called him back the second time, I personally reached out to 2 rescues because I was also uncomfortable with the situation. So I reached out to 2 local rescues just saying, hey, this is what's going on. Like, can we facilitate getting this dog to you guys or something along those lines? Because we have the patient's best interest in mind, which I don't think the dad didn't. But anyway, so I was going back and forth with those rescues. And then I hadn't heard back from them. So I just called the owner because he wanted this to be handled in a timely manner. So I then called him, and like I said, he was not interested in behavior modification, things like that. So I then revisited the point of taking her to the Humane Society. And I just don't think he understood me the first time. And so he actually did take her. So he was interested in that. And I explained to take all of her medications, that they don't usually turn away dogs, and they are well equipped to take on a dog that is on medications because she is well managed. She did much better after we got her on all 3 meds. She was doing fine last time we saw her. So he ended up taking her there. And then later last night when I got home, it was like 8:30 or 9, the rescue had emailed me back and told me that I was that dog's hero. So it's kind of, I don't know, it felt really good because like we treat dogs, but like you guys are like the brain behind the treatment. So like the fact that I literally saved that dog's life yesterday, like she could have been euthanized. Yeah. And I changed her
course
fate.
Of her trajectory.
And so I felt really good about myself. And that's one of like the highest things I've done in my career. So
that's awesome.
I will say I was also uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky position because it's ultimately you don't want to put anyone or any animal in a household at risk. There's that concern. Then there's the other, like, we don't know the full story with the family. So having grace and like, we can't just assume he's making up a story or exaggerating. But then you also want to help in any capacity. But then you think medically, is there something I could do to fix this? Like, is the thyroid meds off or something? Yeah. So yeah, ultimately it came down to, I was comfortable and I asked multiple other doctors because actually given the schedule, I actually wouldn't be able to do the consultation. So I asked a fellow colleague, hey, this is the situation. Are you comfortable with doing the consultation? And she said yes, due to our schedules and timing. And so anyway, it ended on like, okay, we can meet in the middle. We are happy to talk you through it and see if this is the best scenario for everybody involved. We just did not feel comfortable. He wanted to drop her off to euthanize and be done with it. So
yeah, he needed a solution to his problem. Yeah.
And we tried to find other solutions.
Yeah. And he didn't know. You only know what you know. You know, don't know what you don't know, I guess. You know, so that's great that you offered him other solutions and he took you up on one of them.
Ultimately, you just try your best and
Yeah.
they do what they want. But
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you
Because-
did everything you could.
Yeah, exactly.
I call it a win. I mean, I know she's like scared and terrified,
She's
and
alive.
she's at a shelter, but she's alive. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have another case. Where are we at? I'll go quick.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
So it's a fun full circle. Back when I was a baby green vet, first starting, it was one of my first cases, major surgeries, where I had this, at the time, it was a 7-year-old mixed breed male dog that had this string of like masses on the side, the lateral aspect of his left hind, basically like, I don't know, going down the backside of his leg from his hock down. And so I did that surgery. I don't know if you remember it, but it was like a full chain getting scooped out of these weird masses. And it was a big incision, a lot of bandage changes, a lot of communication with the owner. And back, I remember thinking like, oh, I hope I'm doing okay. Like, you know, earning the owner's trust. And healed up great. I lost track of that owner because we have so many doctors in the clinic that the dog and him just would come back and get annuals done by other doctors and whatever.
Yeah.
Full circle. I saw them for the first time just this week in 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
And it was
like a
for-
reunion.
Yeah, it
It
literally
really was.
I was like, I'm so happy to see you. Like I had thought about this dog. I still have the pictures on my phone of it. This owner was fantastic, and we just clicked, and like
He did
it was-
request Dr. Duckwall.
Oh.
I
it
will
was
say.
just one of those things where I was like, I'm
Disappointment.
sincerely so
Mhm.
excited to see you. How are you? I felt like we were friends. I'm like,
Yeah.
how's life? What's going on?
yeah.
And, anyway, the dog came back and he has another growth. So those chain of growths came back as hamartomas.
Hermatomas.
So benign, which is great. And so he's got a new one though, that's kind of ulcerated on the surface on the caudal aspect of his, like where his Achilles tendon is.
Mhm.
And I FNA'd it, and there's a lot of inflammation. It was kind of cystic, but there's some spindly looking cells. And I was like, look, I think it would probably, bless you.
Thank you.
It would probably be best if we just chop it off while it's this size now, because I just went through a mass I couldn't really remove. And I was like, let's just get rid of it. The dog still has good quality of life, even though he's like 12 to 13 now. And so anyway, tomorrow I'm taking the mass off, and it's a reunion, and
that's
it's
good.
just full circle.
Mhm.
The
That's so
dog
fun.
has changed in his old age. He's much more scared than I remember,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
happens.
He's cute.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So they come back. Don't worry. If they don't come back to you right away, it's not because of you
They
always.
will find you. It's
Not always
exciting.
because of you.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
right.
Just
Absolutely.
how things work
Sometimes our heads go to the
out. And they
worst
do
place.
remember you. They
And they
still
do remember.
remember.
And look at the trust he has now.
Mhm.
Like you're like, let's just remove this. He's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Mhm.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
very appreciative of Dr. Duckwall.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yay.
All right.
We'll end there.
That's
That's
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's- yeah.
Wow.
Wait. Before we end,
Okay.
the live show will have happened by now.
Oh,
How do you think it went?
oh my gosh.
The live show
we
will.
did our live show, guys.
Oh, okay. So let's
Wait,
make
no
predictions
way.
on the live show.
This is
Oh.
coming out next week.
Wait, but the outro says
This is coming out next week. Don't worry about that.
So
the live show went great.
it went great.
It
I'm
did
so
so much
nervous
fun.
at first.
We're predicting.
Yes. And our jokes really made people laugh.
Kevin Costner was there.
Kevin Costner
We saw
was
Kevin
actually
Costner.
at the Roundtable Live.
we did
No,
not see Patrick Dempsey, unfortunately.
He shook our hands and took our picture with us.
Yes, he wanted our picture, so we took it with him.
This is a jolly good
the
Courtney
time.
and
drinks
I
were
did-
amazing.
Courtney and I did
because
not vomit, right? We
Nope.
did not vomit.
did not
No.
vomit.
Mm.
No sickness.
And we had
Oh,
parvo
from
and
alcohol?
heartworm
Oh, I
galore.
I don't vomit from
Yeah.
alcohol.
And we
Um,
met lots of people.
Yep.
And we got to meet lots of you guys who listen to the episodes
Yes.
Super exciting.
and take pictures.
And we're so excited for the
and-
next one because it went so great.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everything was amazing. Everybody was great.
So much fun. I didn't get sunburnt.
Um, and
But I'm
our
exhausted.
extracurricular activities were fabulous.
I still have not caught up on my sleep.
and we're so tired.
yeah,
yes.
no.
We're so
Another
tired.
question I have for you guys is there anything that you all would have changed about the Prop 129 episodes in terms of preparation, filming them?
Would have changed.
Is there anything that you would have done differently? for any
No,
of
I think
them?
we killed it.
What do you guys think?
I feel like our preparation was we'd read a lot.
We read a lot.
We haven't
And we
prepared ever like
convened
that
and
before.
discussed a lot. Maybe doing that a little bit more in advance so it didn't feel so crunch time.
like cram.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Instead of cramming.
But then it was fresh in our brains.
Maybe sending the questions to the people ahead of time so that they had more, like maybe we would have gotten even more information.
Because they would have been able to really
They would
prepare
have
their
like
answers.
been able to think about their answers and like then add to them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which may have made the conversation even more in depth. Maybe, I don't know.
I
don't
think we
know.
did an
I think
awesome job.
We did
I
great
think-
for it
yeah.
being like our
I think
first chain of crucial
yeah.
conversations.
I think we had really good candid conversations, and I think we were respectful.
Yep, I was gonna say
Best
we made
could
people feel
be.
welcome.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we think. That's,
That's
what we hope.
we think.
That's the goal.
Not
Yes,
be sick
exactly.
during a guest episode.
Oh gosh.
yeah.
What would you have changed, producer?
Yeah.
Everything. It was horrible.
Great.
We're
Were you-
fired.
Glad we got that.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Well, on that note.
On that note, okay, take us out, Doug Wall.
Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable. Remember, send in those questions and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode or a previous one. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Veterinary Roundtable.